Welcome and welcome back to Quilting Beauty and Books, my corner of YouTube. I pray that you and your family are all doing well today and that you enjoyed today's video. In today's video, as you can tell by the title, I'll be sharing with you some mental health issues that I suffer from. And I wanted to share these with you guys because I know I'm not the only one out there, especially now with all these things going on in the world. Some people can be feeling a little bit down. Now, I have dealt with these issues, this issue, depression, since I was a very little girl, a very young girl, and I still suffer through them today. Now, as this video goes along, you will see scriptures that'll be popping up in somewhere up above me. I'm not sure which side yet. They'll be popping up above me. I wanted to just give you some scriptures that I use to help me when I am going through. Now, these scriptures were not given to me as a child. I didn't have a close relationship with God, not until I got saved, and that was when I was about 24 years old. So I knew God as a child, but he was just someone that they call God, but a relationship did not form until I was yet saved. So not to drag this video any further, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm looking down at my notebook because I recorded this video several times. I had a lot of sound issues. I had a lot of video quality issues, and then it was just like all jumbled up. So because I wanted to hurry up and get back through it, and I was missing things before. So I wrote some things down. Now, I cannot tell you every single thing that happened to me that put me in a state of depression. Now, I'm just going to touch on some points that I went through, and hopefully you'll understand it as I go by. All of my depression relates to a loss or by death or separation. When some of you guys might have pets that have pet anxiety. When you separate from them, they tear up your house, tear up your furniture or whatever. Well, mine works similar to that. So we're gonna start off with childhood, and I have a couple of points here. Now, when I was very young, I know that, at that point in time, the difference between opposites. If something is good, the opposite of good is bad. I knew the exact same thing with if something is pretty, the opposite of it is ugly. Okay. So, as a child, to hear things coming from people that you love can be hurtful, especially if it's negative. And that's what I heard. I heard my aunt and my grandmother say negative things about me to the point where I knew, okay, it was 3 of us that grew up together, me and my 2 nieces. Colorism played a huge role in my mother's side of the family. So my oldest niece is a little bit lighter in skin tone, and she was considered beautiful. My younger niece is a little she's not as dark as I am, but she's dark skinned, but she had this beautiful head of hair cascaded down her back and everything. She was considered pretty. Well, in the conversations, when it got to me, it was that I was ugly, but my mom dressed me well. so that makes it okay. Or she's not as pretty as my daughter. She's my brother's kid, so you know, hey, what can I say? You know, hurtful things. And to actually hear that from people that I looked up to, that I admired, it was very, very hurtful. And up until that point, I mean, I was a wee kid. I was about like between 6 and 8. And that's devastating, because I remember picking flowers. Who didn't pick dandelions up out the yard and know that they were probably now I think they're the most hideous, because there'd be so many of them in my yard. Especially during the summer. But my husband, you know, he fixed that though. But they come up, all my children had brought me some dang on dandelions, thinking it was the cutest and the most sweetest thing. And here, you know, and you know, you can't help but you know, smile and be like, yeah. But I was like, if y'all don't take them bug-filled flowers up out my house. The thought was nice. But it was just, you know, that was beautiful. And to know that you're not beautiful or not pretty from people that you love can be damaging. So that was one of the things, that is the first thing, honestly, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, that put me in a state of depression, because my self-worth, if I was ugly, that meant I wasn't worth anything or nobody loved me. That's what I equated it to. Then, as a child on the playground, nobody wanted to play with me. You know, only thing they wanted to play was double dutch, jump rope, because I was really good at that. That was the only time I was called. You know, when they had to pick teams, no one wanted me on their team, or I was the last one picked. Because sports was not my forte. Now, sports, I was good like in the alley sports, but in school sports, I sucked. I wouldn't pick me either now, knowing that. But who name always wants to be called last? When I used to sleep as a child, I used to bump my head on the pillow. They called it bumping. And just to go to sleep. Like some people have to hear humming sounds or nature sounds to help them fall asleep. I had to bump my head on my pillow. It is hereditary because I got it from my cousins. Then I had it, and my niece had it, then my son had it, because, you know, we saw each other do it, and that's how we went to sleep. Okay, doing that left me with no edges at all. So and I had pretty decent long hair, so you pull my hair up, and then all this was gone. Well, the older I got, my hair started coming back in, but it was, I'm sorry when I did that, my hair is sticking up. I took my hair out, those braids, them suckers was tight. So I had to bring my hair back down. I'm sorry about that distraction. So so I didn't have hair on the side. So that was, again, something ugly. So no one wanted to, you know, to play with me. Then I had internal and external chicken pox, leaving me almost like Casper-like, because all my skin was white because it was still healing. And again, no one wanted to come close to me. No one wanted to talk to me, touch me, all that kind of stuff. And the last thing is, when I was probably second grade, my bladder wasn't as big as a dime, okay? I always had to use the bathroom, and the teacher would not let me go. It was an accident, several, and I was teased so bad about it. So bad about it. It was so hurtful, and because it was coming from the teacher too. So one day I had to go, and she wouldn't let me. Of course, I used it in my chair, and we've had to switch seats. She wouldn't let me talk So the new girl who sat in that seat sat in a wet seat. And the girl told her parent. And my mom got called into the office. And let's just say, because my mom didn't know nothing about it until we got in that office, and I told the principal and my mother, the teacher won't let me go to the bathroom. She keeps telling me to shut up. And I'm going to tell you then, because now I didn't talk in class at all, unless called upon. And when I said that, and I was said it boldly, and I wish she would tell the story, because I'm gonna call her a liar to her face, even though I was not allowed to say that word. I was waiting for her to say it. She didn't. She didn't deny it, because I think she was in shock that I spoke. And when I tell you my mama shut that down, anytime I had to use the bathroom, I was able to go to the bathroom. And in the bathroom, we had a classroom, but the boys and girls bathroom was inside. Okay, this is the classroom right here, and then there was a wall, and then our bathroom was right here, along with our coat closets and stuff like that. And then there was a wall right here, which was the hallway on the other side. So that was like a cool school, because we had the bathrooms in our classroom. There was no need to go down the hall or nothing like that. So we were good. I see all kind of writing on the wall and stuff like that. And then I saw a lot of Stephanie's ugly, Stephanie pees her pants, and all that kind of stuff on the wall. I mean, it was just devastating. But that was, I want to say the last year I had bladder issues. For some reason, my bladder grew, or I was able to hold it throughout the classroom or something like that. But it was just like through kindergarten, through 3rd grade, I think, 2nd grade, that my bladder had issues. But anywho, now all of that, plus losing a friendship. Me and my friend Sandra were really, we were peanut butter and jelly. We were a mirror of each other. Everybody said we looked identical. We were like this. We were separated by things that was out of our control. One day she was down at our house, and for some, I don't know why, it was thought that I told my brother anything, because the only brother that was in the house with me at that time was my brother Glenn, and we were doing chores, and I told her to stay at the front door. I'm cleaning, and every time I can sneak away, I'm talking to her, right? So we did that, but while this was going on, her house was burglarized, and the people who said they saw somebody said it was my brother, not my brother Glenn, but my other brother Dwayne. And I'm like, I would never, ever, we were babies. I would tell my brother anything like that her house is unsecure. Dang it, I didn't even know her house was unsecure. I thought she closed the door or locked the door or whatever. I would never, ever had done that. But then after that, we couldn't speak, we couldn't play, we couldn't do nothing with one another. And that destroyed me. I never had a friend like Sandra. Since we were just peanut butter and jelly, we were inseparable. And I never let another person get like that attached to me, because that loss was so great. Especially as a child. Now, adult friends, I got me some, my Ace Boom Coons, my friends and stuff like that now. But growing up, I did not have that. I lost my brother. Not a brother that I share a mother with. I have a stepbrother, but as you already know, I have godparents. I call them mom and dad. There is no God, and no God mom, no God dad. I don't do that. So with this brother, though he is my stepbrother, he is my brother. I lost him not by death, but we were separated. I mean, it's like as soon as I found out I had a stepbrother, and we're the same age, we're only months apart. As soon as I found out about him, all of a sudden he was taken from me because they moved to another state. It was a lot of things that were, again, out of our control. Parents did not get along and all that kind of stuff. And I've been praying all these years, Lord, bring him back into our life. You know, I've been trying to find him on whatever. And I'm going to tell you guys, it has taken 40 years because as of a couple weeks ago, I didn't know where he was. I couldn't find him. I was contacting all kind of crazy, you know, not crazy people, contacting other men with his name, trying to see if they were him. And it was like, no, sorry, no, not him. And then all of a sudden we found him this August. I am so head over the heels excited because God has truly, truly answered our prayers. All the people, the key people that kept us separated in the first place, they're all gone. You know, they all passed on. And I think it was a reason for God's timing, and that is so we can build a relationship for the three of us and not have to interfere with the adults that kept us apart. So that, you know, that was really really key. And also our father died when we were very young, so that was a lot to take in as a child. So I wasn't like mopey sad or couldn't do nothing sad. It was just that I took on all of that and didn't have an outlet for it. I can still play and stuff like that, but it was always at night. It was a real deep sadness, okay? Now that was like early childhood. Getting on to middle school, I lost some uncles and some friends. One of the girls in our school committed suicide, and it was just really, really hard. Again, stuff on a playground. There was an incident where I walked into the bathroom. Well, no, I was already in the bathroom. And two other girls, of course, the bullies of the school, came in. And all of a sudden, I became a topic of their conversation. And I had on a new outfit that day. And I was not the kind of person that, you know, like, oh, look what I got. No, I wasn't that, because there was enough of people like that in school anyway. I think I had a new outfit, and my hair was, got my hair did or something like that. I think it was more of a new outfit because I had a curl back then, child. I cut my hair. And I had gotten a new outfit. That's what it was. And I remember we were talking about like our crushes for middle, you know, on guys. And I'm like, I don't have a crush for this school. The only crush that I had, hands down, were on two people. One of them was Rick Springfield, Dr. Noah Drake on General Hospital, because that was my mama's favorite character. Girl, y'all couldn't tell me nothing about Rick Springfield, okay? I knew his stats like I knew the back of my hand. And my next door neighbor, he was my crush from high school, middle school, high school, college. And in college, that's when I was like, you know what, you know, I'm gonna let you go. So, yeah, and they were talking about my Rick Springfield crush because I wrote "I love Rick Springfield" on everything. Do you hear me? I was gonna marry that man. Okay. I just knew we was gonna be together forever. Amen. Okay. But when I tell you, when I found out he got married, I'm going to tell y'all, I was devastated. I wouldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My mama, she was on the phone when I told her. She was like, are you serious? I was like, I'm never going to eat again. I don't want to live. She was telling somebody what I was saying, and she was like, I'm about to get in here and make her favorite food. And I didn't eat it. I did not eat it. She was like, okay, now Stephanie, this is day number 2. I'm gonna have to take you to the hospital, and they're gonna put a tube in your nose. I was like, what? Let me go ahead and eat. I mean, it just took all that to, get him out of my system. And I want to say, after that, I let him go. It was just really crazy. So they were in there talking about my crush that I had on him, and even if he was our age or whatever, he wouldn't think nothing of me, because no boy ever does, and all that kind of foolishness. And then we had a zoo trip, and of course my favorite animals were the gorillas and the elephants. And we were standing over by the the gorilla pit, and they were like, a group of girls were like, "Oh, Stephanie, there go your mama and your daddy," and everybody started laughing. And of course, and this was in a Christian school, okay? It was just so hurtful, and I was trying to think of a comeback, but it was just like my tongue was, stuck to the roof of my mouth. It wouldn't let it come out. And I kept hearing thoughts in my head, how I wanted to knock her in a pit or whatever. But I just went off to myself, and I didn't get in trouble about walking away, because I really didn't walk like too far away from the group, that much farther away from the group. But I'm tearing up. You remember it, so I remember it so vividly. I walked away from the group, and I remember another parent. Ugh. I recorded this so many times, and there was so many times where I didn't tear up, but I think when I think of what God has brought me from, all these hurtful things, I don't want to cry. She came and she sat with me. We were sitting on a bench, and she said, "It hurt, didn't it?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to cry." She said, "It hurt, didn't it?" I was like, "Excuse me?" She said, "What she said, that hurt, didn't it?" And I was like, yes, duh. That's what I wanted to say. And I was like, "Yeah, it did." And she started telling me about how majestic the gorillas are, and how in her eyes that was always her favorite animal, and how powerful they are. And of course, she was a Christian parent, and she said, out of all the animals in the zoo, if they were your parents, that they were the most powerful people ever, and how God created them to be that way, and He's created something good in you that is going to be powerful. Okay. And she said so much that when I went and stood up in front of that the encasing, the silverback came over, and it was like he singled me out. It was just like God talking to me, It was an amazing thing that I experienced, but yet I didn't know it was God at that time. I just saw the gorilla move to the thing, and that parent knew exactly what that was, because I remember her putting her hand on my shoulder and stuff like that. I can think of that moment now, but I didn't know it back then what it meant. But we're about to move on there, because I ain't gonna be on here crying. So in high school, I had lost some uncles, and my friend's mom had committed suicide at that time. I became self-destructive. I came home with all kind of earrings from all the way up here. I sat there and let this girl pierce my ears with a popsicle. I froze my ear with a popsicle, and she pierced my ear all the way down. I was like, "How you gonna look in your casket with all What all them holes in your ear? And I'm like, am I gonna die today? I didn't know, but just did stupid stuff. Getting involved in stuff that I had no business being involved in. I had a one girl. Was my friend. We haven't been in contact since graduation. Well, a little after graduation, I went to go see her a couple of times, and she was like into at that time in high school, I was into hard rock, heavy metal, and all that kind of stuff. Poison, Duran. Well, Duran really wasn't hard metal, but Bon Jovi, all that. And I was just like really like bugging out at that time. And my friend, she was more into like the dark stuff like magic and Ouija and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, that'd be pretty cool. But God kept me from it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, no, sis, you're not about to do that, hunty. Not my daughter. You better take your butt on home. And I just remember that because it was one day I was, like I said, when it got into it just a little bit. But I want to say that I believe that she had found out or heard, remembering conversations and stuff, that I had mentioned some of these things that came across on this Ouija board. And when I tell you I was scared, I wasn't playing that. I got my butt hind parts up out of there, okay? So, yeah, black magic and all that kind of stuff, that taboo stuff, no. Now, I remember getting some tarot cards as an adult, and I never opened the package because I remember I kept getting to that scripture. I can't remember it by offhand, that when God said we don't have no business, get into any of that. And I just couldn't open them things up. And I thought it was, I got them because I thought it'd be cool just to see what it was going to say or go get a reading. I couldn't do it. I couldn't open them up, honey. I had them in my house probably for a good couple months like that. And I just felt like evil was present inside my home. Honey, I heard up and threw them things in the garbage, okay? And after that, I didn't have a problem. Didn't have a problem. And then in college, I lost my nephew. And that's when I told you that other guy that I just knew I was going to have for the rest of my life. Yeah, I broke it off with him too. So that was a loss because when I remember writing, I was telling my husband about this today, I wrote out how my future was supposed to be. And I declare my life is nothing like what I wrote on that piece of paper, okay? Because when God put his hand in it, everything, my life is nothing compared to that. My life is like 1,000,000,000 times better. I mean, because that was a child's mind. You know what I'm saying? And if he would have answered what I had on that paper with who, I know I would have been miserable for the rest of my days. Look at God. In college, I was out there, y'all. I was drinking, had no business drinking, and I was like trying to get rid of pain, and I couldn't get rid of it. And even though my roommate was my best friend from high school and stuff like that at the time, and she was like, Stephanie, you don't need to be doing all that. I couldn't hear her because she was too close to me. And one of my guy friends said he didn't want me to drink anymore. And I was like, what? He's like, you're doing it to hang out with us, but I like you the way that you are when you're not drinking. And when I tell you I haven't touched another drink since then, I have not touched a drink since then. That's all it took for them to say, I want you to hang out with us still, but I don't want you to be drinking. And whatever soda, juice, and stuff that I wanted, water that I wanted, he always made sure that it was there wherever we went. He always looked out for me, but he did not like the me that I was when I was drinking. So I stopped that. And then in the military, I was really out there. Was not drinking, but I was out there. And I lost a child during that time. So that was put me further in a depression than I care to. And that is where my PTSD come in. I'm going to do a separate video on that. So I don't want to talk too much more about that, and the loss of relationships during that time. And then after the military, I lost my mother, I lost other friends, relationship, I lost relatives, and again, trying to cover up all the pain, I ended up getting married to a man I had no business, under no circumstances, getting married to, and had to pray my way right on out of it less than a year later, okay? So it was just so much, not to set that to the side, but it was so much that I went through. I mean, all of these losses left such a dark cloud on my spirit. When I tell you, everything, especially at night, was like a solid black, with no light whatsoever, not even like a gray, wasn't even gray. Everything was just pitch black in my life, and I just couldn't find myself coming up out of that. Sorry about that. I lost my camera stopped. So what did I do? Guys, don't be afraid of therapy. Don't be afraid to get out and talk to other people. Talk to a professional. Don't go talking to other people who will wag that tongue and tell all your business. That's what, that's not therapy. Get in prayer. I can't stress that enough. Did it work for me? Therapy did. Talking to God always does. However, when it's not with God, make sure I'm getting that clear. I'm gonna say also, when you talk to God, sometimes you just feel like, okay, I just wasted all that time talking, because now I don't feel no different, but He's working it out, but you just don't see it. Don't be afraid to talk to a therapist, a doctor, about your issues. If you have to talk to like a girlfriend or something like that, make sure that person is trustworthy. Just don't go out there telling your business to whoever will listen, because you don't want it to come back to you in the way that they can spit it out, especially when they gonna spew it out negatively. You don't want that. You don't want nothing thrown back up in your face, okay? So God gave those people are trained. God gave them the ability to cope with these kind of issues and stuff like that. Don't be afraid to use them. Don't be afraid to use them. Also, like I said, going to God in prayer, going and writing your thoughts and your issues in a journal. Don't be afraid to do that. And that way you can classify these different things, because it took a while for me to find out that my depression comes from any kind of loss. So I just wanted to get out here and share. I hope the scriptures that I linked above that touched you, and in a way, just know that you are not alone when you're going through your life struggles or situations. Don't be afraid to let God take the lead on those. Give those things to Him. Give Him time to answer. It might not be coming the way that you want it to. That's a whole nother thing. Don't be afraid to let God be God in your life. You're not alone in your struggles. And that's why I made this video, so you will know that you're not going through it by yourself. I'm going through it too. Go ahead, and if you want to connect with me down in the comments or whatever, on email or whatever, I love to be your prayer partner in helping you through these situations. Go ahead and like and share this video if you care to do so. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If not, what are you waiting on? And while you're at it, click that bell so you'll be notified of my next upload. Go ahead and follow me over on Goodreads and Instagram, both Quilting Beauty and Books. And until the next video, guys, be blessed. Bye.